Hello, welcome back to another video. You join me on a hillside somewhere just outside Rochdale. Well, New Age sort of Milnrow if I must be precise. And you'll see down there in the valley is a wonderful place. The remains of an old colliery that used to be here, an old coal mine, the Jubilee Colliery. So I'm down now at the level of the colliery, and remains of all the old buildings are everywhere. Obviously this big brick wall, if you look at up there, there's a big sort of gas pipe thing there. So it's difficult to place what all these buildings were. I have got some more photos to show you. So this is where we are in Manchester, just to the north east of the city centre, just between Rochdale and Oldham, near a place called Milnrow and Newhay. So that is a map from 1888, and you'll see Jubilee Colliery there. On the right is a big hill, and then down the middle of the map there you'll see the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway and a road, and Jubilee Colliery just sort of sits in a little valley in between the hill and the railway and road. The colliery was opened in 1845 by Evans, Barker and Company. There were two faces, or two shafts if you like, I don't know what the technical term is, but there was the mountain mine at a depth of 96 metres, and then the lower mountain mine, which eventually was dug later, and that was at a depth of 296 metres. The colliery was later owned by the Oldham, Middleton and Rochdale Colliery Company, and then later on still it was owned, in 1883 it was taken over by Platt Brothers and Company. Now Platt Brothers were to be quite a famous company around this area, a big employer. Platt Brothers, at the height of the colliery's sort of success if you like, employed 176 men, and there were 42 of them employed just on the surface alone. Later on, there was coke ovens were built at the colliery. Now we're going to see evidence of those coke ovens in a bit. Now the remarkable thing about this place, this beautiful place that is now a nature reserve, is that it used to look like this. A little grainy black and white picture, and I'm sure that is as far away from nature as you could get back in those days. But anyway, that's how it used to look. So let's go back down to ground level and see if we can see any evidence of those buildings and how the layout was. So I think this is one of the shafts. The reason I think that is because it's got the little triangular sort of pyramid sort of shape on top of it. Probably been capped off, so God knows how deep this is underneath here. But you see the little sort of pyramid thing there? I think that marks the fact that it's a former shaft. So the site is quite a narrow site. It's kind of squeezed in between the hill up there, as you can see, and over here you've got the road. We're sort of in a valley here. So it's been quite a narrow site. It's spanned this way. So against the back wall you've got probably what would have been the buildings of the colliery. So you've got all these old sort of ruins here. Quite fantastic really. Now the colliery closed in 1932. I just love the way you've got these old bits of ruins of bits of rooms and probably outbuildings and things around here. Quite amazing. So let's just take a look inside here. So who knows what this little room would have been. We'll never know, will we, I suppose, but little room there with an arch going out of it. So these are the old coke ovens, and amazingly I think at one point these were all covered over, and they've been the archaeologists came down here, a group of archaeologists and the Groundwork Trust came down here 2014, and they uncovered a lot of this. I'll just show you these coke ovens because they really are amazing. So at the bottom here, these coke ovens are sort of brick lined, and as you go up there you can see obviously the heat from all the processing has completely disintegrated the brick, or it looks like really rough. Imagine the temperatures in here where we're sat now. I think it was up to 500 degrees Celsius. The bottom of it is actually it's brick lined, and almost, it's not cobbles but it's brick lined, and I wonder it's not as been as damaged by the heat. And I wonder if there was some sort of metal grating in here that protected the bottom from the heat. But then again, heat rises, doesn't it? So the upper part would have more damage than the bottom part. But this really is an amazing find, these coke ovens. So you see there's a gap here, row of coke ovens down there just where Connor is, and you come through the gap here. Okay, we come this side and we've got more coke ovens running down here as well. I'll show you those. In fact, there's more of a complete one here. Wow, look at that. Whoa. Yes, amazing, amazing. So this is almost complete. You've got the top of it and everything. A bit of an educated guess here. I think that may have fed the flue with the fumes. Your guess is as good as mine there. Look at the blackness there. Years and years and years of burning coal. Even a bit of a crack there in the wall. Probably cracked over time with all the heat. Now on top of the coke ovens is this kind of channel here, and after much speculation we decided, or we worked out, that this was the flue. So let's just have a walk through this thing and see what it's like. And he's got a little hole there, seeing the side. And I'm telling you now, the ceiling up here, you can really see how it's almost bubbled. I don't think you can see that, but it's the bricks have been subject to so much heat, it's bubbled. Incredible. Crawling on my hands and knees here. That is our flue from the coke ovens this way, and here it says here site of boiler house. So the boiler house sat in the middle of the complex, and it makes sense because just on the other side of those what look like steps there, well, that is the base of the chimney. So it would have fed into the chimney and up this way. Amazing, we found the chimney, so we'll go and take a look now at the base of the chimney. So here we are, base of the chimney. Amazing, some kind of structure there, and you can see just how thick this base is. I'll show you from the top. So you've got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 or 8 bricks thick. That's probably better from an aerial view of it. Look at that. You see there, there's the diameter of the chimney, and the walls literally go from there, and they're all that thick. You don't quite get the impression on camera of just how thick the walls are. And obviously it makes sense because where the chimney is here, we're directly in line with what was the flue, what we thought was the flue from the coke ovens over there. Now this is an amazing picture. In 2014, like I say, the Groundwork Trust came here with some volunteers and some archaeologists, and they uncovered this site. And this picture isn't mine,
It's from this website here, where you can read more information about Jubilee Colliery. There was no individual to credit, so I do hope you don't mind me using it. But what a wonderful picture, because it shows that just how wide that wall was for the chimney, how wide it needed to be, and how deep those foundations probably go for the chimney. Two flues that fed the chimney, one from the coke ovens, and I think that lower flue there that you're looking at that's been bricked up was from the blacksmith shop, and possibly, not sure, maybe from the boiler house. But really, really good photos, and I hope you don't mind me using them, because they really do show how wonderful the base of that chimney was. Okay, so this is from the 1930s, this picture. I couldn't quite find the date. I think it's 1930s. You'll see there over on the left our chimney. See how the base is enclosed by the boiler house. Over to the right, obviously you've got another chimney there, which is a square looking chimney. And then you'll see the coal being offloaded onto the coal wagons on the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway, which is actually now Manchester's Metrolink tram system. Now, as I'm reading up on Jubilee Colliery, I read an account by a former employee, obviously written a long time ago, and he said it was one of the wettest collieries he'd ever worked in. Obviously it's underneath the Pennine Hills, one of the wettest places in England, and that's what I'm learning as a novice, really, that these underground structures, one of the biggest enemies and the biggest problems they had was water ingress into the workings. Men, women and children drowned and perished in some of the floods and water ingresses into these pits. If you watch my Stanage Tunnel videos, you can see there in the disused railway tunnels the amount of water that permeates through the rock and into the structures. Absolute big problems in pumping out water in these mines.
Oh my God. Look like Whirlpool. Oh!
Now, when the colliery closed in 1932, the shafts and the coal faces flooded with about 1,000 million gallons of water, and this actually provided an underground reservoir for the towns of Rochdale and Oldham. And still to this day, water is pumped out of the shafts and the coal faces a place near Milnrow and goes into the actual water supply.
So there you go, that's Jubilee Colliery. Beautiful place, and it's open to the public. You can come along here and you can just have a walk round. It'd be beautiful on a nice day. It's a nature reserve as well, so lovely. Well, the contrast between it being an old colliery and now it's a nature reserve is actually quite fantastic. So you can come down here and have a look around yourself. So the thing you haven't got to forget about this place is all around there's reminders of the buildings that used to be here, and although nature's reclaimed it, you can't forget that this used to be a place of work, a place of heat, a place of graft. Probably people getting up at 6 in the morning, still dirty from the day before, still grime under the nails, and walking into work absolutely exhausted, underground, in the heat, chipping away at the coal. So we come here nowadays and we splendour at it, and we look at the old remains and everything and the way nature's reclaimed it, and we kind of poeticise it. But this was very much a place of, like I say, hard graft, hard work, someone's workplace that they came to probably 6 days a week and for God knows how many hours a day.
In 1908, there were 47,896 employees in about 208 collieries over the northeast Lancashire area. Of those employees, 51 people died in mining accidents. Here's one of them. A fatal accident at the colliery was reported in 1898. John Longstaff of Buckley Square in Milnrow, which is just outside the town of Rochdale, aged 18, was going down an incline in the pit with a tub laden with coal. Having failed to put the scotches in the wheels of the tub, it pushed him down the incline for about 20 yards when it overturned and killed him. And that was reported in the Manchester Times on the 21st of October 1898.
understood. I understood the meaning of heaven and earth, and the stars, of life and death and eternity. She took you out into a rose garden filled with nightingales, and then lifted you up with her, higher than the